Hello and welcome to Glorified Gutsy Gaming. I'm Jake, and today I'm going to talk about 10 games that I want to introduce to somebody. A friend of mine that I've been playing games with recently that's relatively new to this hobby broke his ankle in like 3 places, which is awful. So unfortunately, we can't do a lot of things that we normally do together, but fortunately, it does mean that we will probably have time to introduce him to some games. And these 10 that I'm going to talk about are specifically chosen, I think, to work up and learn about a lot of the different types of games that are kind of common now. But I will go into more detail as I go through them. And I'm just going to pull them off the stack and show the camera so I don't have to edit it because it would save me a lot of time and effort. So number one, this is the Quest for El Dorado. I've talked about this one a little bit, as I've probably talked about most of these. It is a deck building game where you're just trying to race to get to El Dorado first. And you're going to have a hand of cards that are like 5, 10 cards, doing a couple at a time, and they can each do a handful of things. You can go through jungle, water, or towns, and you're just trying to get to the end and do it the best. But yeah, it's a race, so I think it's a good intro to deck building, which is basically having a hand of cards and then acquiring more cards to make your deck a little bit bigger and stronger to achieve whatever the goal is at the end. So I think that's a great intro to deck building. And then number 2, I have Rollin' One. This is a golf game. My friend likes sports and golfing, and this is a dice game with push your luck elements in it, where you're choosing which dice you want to roll to try to make your ball fly towards the hole or whatever direction towards the hole you're trying to go. Nobody else really likes playing it with me, so I think this would be good for 2 reasons. Good intro to that stuff, and maybe finding somebody who will play it with me and enjoy it. And then number 3, I have King of Tokyo Origins, which is kind of a small version of King of Tokyo. That's kind of an introductory one. And I'm choosing this one in particular because I have a lot of stuff for it. But this one in particular is the smallest one. It's compact, so I can travel with it pretty easily. And I'll be traveling probably, maybe sometimes, to play with him. But this one has everything kind of contained in one box. It's just a couple characters. I think they've even updated the 2-player rules. So this is the one I would choose out of the bunch of that. But it's kind of Yahtzee with battle mechanics, where you're rolling 3 times, keeping some dice, trying to either eliminate the other players or getting the most points in order to win. And I think it's just a lot of fun. And it was one of the first games that I played when I was getting into playing board games more regularly. And then number, whatever this is, 4, I have Ninja Taizen, which is kind of hard to see with that logo. I guess there's a sticker on here. But this is a little 2-player game where you have to get to it's like just a track, and you're on one side, the other player's on the other side, and you're just trying to get one of your pieces to the end of the other side. And there's 3 different colors, so there's kind of a rock, paper, scissors, and you roll dice to move those different colors. And they have different type matchups. It's pretty fun. Again, it's one that nobody really likes playing with me, and I think it's really nice and easy and fun. And I think it's just perfect for what we're doing. And again, small and transportable, so most of these are pretty small. But I think we're on like 5 now. Yeah. So number 5 I have is Pina Pirata. Usually play this 2 players only. Katie and I usually play it when it's just the 2 of us. But it's kind of like Uno, but with powers, and I know he likes Uno, and we played that before. But this one kind of changes everything up, and I think it's kind of relaxing, a lot of fun. I think it should work pretty well for what we're doing. And the next one I have is Silver and Gold, which I got somewhat recently, and I've talked about in a lot of videos these last couple months. But it is kind of a roll and write, but it's flip and write. So you have cards that you flip over, and you do stuff on your own personal board, kind of like Yahtzee also, where you're marking off stuff. And it's the easiest of that genre, I think. and it's a very welcoming game in that regard. I don't think it's like the most amazing or fun game ever, but I do think that it does a lot of things really well that would be good to kind of get somebody used to that kind of stuff. All right, and then I have Trash Pandas. That is another push your luck dice game. So that's a couple of those that I've looked at now. But I think it's light enough and fun enough that maybe having some options for the same kind of thing are good. And then I've got Draftosaurus, which I talked a little bit about also, but it's a drafting game and you're building up the zoo with dinosaurs. I think drafting isn't one of the things that I do a lot. I don't tend to like it when it's in a more serious game. And in this case, I feel like the game is the perfect drafting. We've got a couple other ones, but I think this is the easiest one to get into. So that's the one I'm choosing here. And then I have Lost Cities. This is one of my favorite 2-player games there is. And in this one, you're almost lane battling and just trying to get the most points total. You're wanting to have the most of like a set collection of a certain color. I think it's a good intro game. The scoring is a bit hard for just in general, but compared to a lot of games, but it's not something that I think is too challenging to try to handle. But yeah, one I really like. And then last, this is one that we haven't got to play a lot recently. This is Abduction. This is the biggest box of this, but it's not a very big game. There's nothing really on the back. But it is kind of like a puzzle, like a slide puzzle game where you're trying to move your ducks around in this pond to make them make whatever your objectives are. It's pretty light and fun, and the reason we haven't really been able to play it is because Lance really likes the little ducks and likes to take them. But you have a little spaceship where you're taking the ducks out of, and then a pond that you're trying to organize into specific color shapes and things to score points. So yeah. That is everything for this video. Again, not really doing any editing. That's why I pulled them all out ahead of time, just to show them really quickly. And again, these are in no particular order. They're just 10 games that I think should work really well for this, and I hope he likes them. Hopefully he lets me know which ones he's the most interested in. But that'll be all. So thanks for watching. Bye.